Welcome back to Pfispeed. Today's episode, we're diving back into Sho'nuff. We've got some critical things to take care of. I was up all night kind of thinking about it. So we've all heard the engine start, but it sounds like little tractors. It's been on 2 holes. Todd and I were messing with it last night and we determined that it was firing on cylinders 2 and 4. Now the reason it was doing so was to get it to start the other night, we had to take the cam sensor out of the loop and swap this all to wasted spark. Now when we swapped this to wasted spark, with this ignition system that I have, the FT Spark, it will automatically change it to wasted spark double coil. So that means it's a single coil, 2 plug wires. Now I've got 4 coils individual, so when it's on wasted spark, it's firing the 2 holes because it's not even triggering the other 2. So what we did was we got back in here, we cranked it a couple times. I noticed on my fuel tech there was never a cam signal, it always just read 0. So took the valve cover off, put it at TDC, measured everything, and Sean, you want to go from there, what we determined happened here?
So what we figured out was our missing tooth is exactly at TDC and our cam sync is both at TDC. So it really wants to see them separated because when you're doing sequential, it wants to see the cam sync before it sees the missing tooth, so it can say, hey, number 1's coming up, the missing tooth's coming, and then the missing tooth's here, and then it knows after the missing tooth, 3 teeth later, we're at TDC. So then it can get all its timing right. Well, we had everything lined up, and that pretty much is confusing the math and making it not happy.
What bit him was the fact that this cam spins counterclockwise to the crank, so that put the cam sensor tab in the wrong spot. S2000s have this wild little gear setup, so the timing chain actually runs on this gear, and then these 2 turn opposite. So we're not gonna dive into it. We're gonna pull this front cover off. We've got to get to that trigger wheel. We've got to check this wheel. We got to check them all, and we'll carry you guys along with. And then hopefully at the end, she starts up and purrs. That's the goal. Yes. We need to hit on all 4 cylinders and Sho'nuff, make this car fly. So first things first, we're gonna pop this trigger wheel off the back of the cam, and we're gonna see where the tab is and see if it can just be flipped. If not, we need to make a new one of those as well. So that's where I'm gonna start. I'm gonna start by popping that thing off, and then I'm gonna get into the lower cover.
Yeah.
Not excited about that one, but I've done it before, and I can get her done, so. Yep, there's definitely reverse rotation. Left hand thread.
Just like that. Whoa.
I think you put the second one in there, huh? That would make sense. Because you wanted it in a certain spot, so you grinded a keyway in it. That'd make perfect sense. Let's look at this in the camera real quick. Alright, so 2 keyway grooves here. And you probably, Sean, when you're putting it together, you just wanted that in a different spot, is what I bet. So he's like, it's gotta be right about there.
So is it straight down? Because the cams are rotating the opposite direction, right?
This one is, yes.
Oh, one of them rotates normally and the other one rotates the opposite, huh?
Yeah.
So this one rotates the opposite.
Yeah.
So we just had it here, which was right at TDC. Okay. It got put back on the factory slot. If it's rotating that direction, it being there would trigger before it got to TDC. So you keep going and getting it ahead of it. Go backwards to 180 or 180 degrees. Not the normal direction. We need to go 500, so we're 180 degrees before TDC, which is only like 90 degrees on the cams. Yeah. So I pin, rotate it forward a little bit. Oh, okay. So that would be it. Go back to the 180. Okay. Let me Okay, now go forward, and I want to see where this is at 90 degrees real quick, what degree that's at. Right there.
We're at
120.
almost 120.
Yep, that's exactly where I wanted it. It just got put on wrong. All right, so a minute ago you guys were watching me put this back in, and I put it in reversed and on the extra cut slot, and now it lines up with the sensor at around 120 degrees before TDC, which is like sweet zone, because that's right after number 4 exhaust valve opens. And so now we have a window between 120 and 0 where we need to clip a tooth, but you want a few teeth before TDC because every tooth's 30 degrees. So every tooth gives you your dwell window before TDC. So if we go 2 teeth, that gives us 60 degrees of dwell before TDC. If we go 3, we got 90, which is more than enough timing advance than we'll ever need.
All right, so we got to take the front of this all down. A little bit of work, but we'll get to that gear and then fix that and
Yeah.
try to fire this thing again.
Well, so I'm getting ready to do the crank trigger wheel, and we actually had this tooth removed on the one that Brent and Todd are removing right now. That lines up with the sensor right when we're at TDC. And that's not really what we want. So we actually want to be, 60 to 90 degrees. So if we were to go 60, it'd be knock this tooth off. But if we put it on backwards, then it'd be over here. So in my head, I say we just go 90. Plus that gives us, a big enough window to know that TDC is coming up. It's directly under the keyway, so no matter which way it goes on, it will be the same. In the heat of racing, something got put on backwards. We don't have to worry about this going on backwards with that one cut because it'll be the same either way.
All right, so I started by removing the damper, the belt, and the bolts for the pump. I know I just put them all on there, but they've got to come off. Next, I've got to work on this mid plate, followed by the coolant reservoir here, and the exhaust EMAP. And then once all that's gone, we have 3 10mm bolts down here, and then we have all the ones through the cover here. And then we're gonna pop this cover out, and then we've got to slide it back on, but we got to be super careful because the head gasket sits right in here, and we don't want to pinch that. Otherwise that turns into a whole nother ordeal.
Yeah.
So we've got to be careful. So let's get to it. Dang, it's a good thing we're good at this. All right guys, so I got all the hardware out, I got the plate out, and I'm gonna put a little oil pan in there because this is an all oil covered area. This part of the cylinder head will remain, and you can see the head gasket right here. So that's the stuff we got to be real mindful of and careful of, and really come off easy and then go back on real easy. Otherwise we risk damaging some stuff. So, and all else, if it comes down to it and it's just too difficult, I'll just pull the pan down. It's just worth it. Of it. So you can see here, this is where the direction I just took it off, and there's the missing teeth.
Move down 90 degrees.
Rah. Alright, now these dudes put that on, clean it up, put it back together. Oh yeah, because normally they got an angle on them.
Yeah.
So at 90? Now hopefully I can find it. Okay. We're diagnosing the cam sync. Alright, so this is on 12 minus 1. You said 90?
Yeah.
3 teeth. Cam, diagnose, single tooth. Drums, please. Cam sync right here.
All right.
So the only way you know it's on is when that comes up. Okay. Here it goes.
If it goes to a green box, does that mean it?
Alright, so let's go back to the oscilloscope here. Figure out what the hell is going on.
Looks like it's getting it right on the money. There's our gap. It's just weird it's not seeing the cam at all when it's cranking there, but it sees it on the oscilloscope.
Hell yeah, man! There's all 4 holes. Woo! Guys, that was some work. We still
sick, bro.
We still have something up with the cam sensor.
Yeah.
But we are close. We hit on all 4. We're making headway, so I'm digging that. So we'll just keep working here until we find it. But it runs.
Yeah.
Huge, man.
Sounded good.
Yeah, that was a lot of work to do, but it was worth it in the long run here. And we still have some kind of cam thing. I'm still showing 0 degrees. So I think that's gonna wrap it up for the day though. We are pooped. It is Friday. And we got shit to do. All right, guys. Take care. All right. Let's see if we get a cam. Ready, Sean? What's it say? Still nothing on there.
What in the world? Yeah, it just looks weak as hell, huh? Look at the, I mean, it's there.
Now
Now it's before the gap where it should be. So that's good. But it just, maybe it just doesn't like that mag sensor.
that's where we go next.
Because I mean, we can see it's reading it. It's just, it's not hitting a voltage where it wants.
Boom, boom, boom. Closer.